Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to get around Canva, create social media posts, banners, flyers, whatever you may need. So to get started, I'm going to give you a quick tutorial of everything that is within Canva. We have the design gallery up here, which is one of my favorite places to be. If you're wanting to look for inspiration for your next design, and they have a lot of really cool templates in here. So it's just great for inspiration. So what you can do is go up to the search bar and type in the business that you are helping, whatever niche it may be in, and you can find some cool templates for it, or you can even venture out into other niches. That's what I tend to do. I'll go to like the gym space, or Pilates has really good, pretty ones that are definitely, oh my gosh, yes, so aesthetically pleasing, just very nice. Then we have elements. So earlier I was looking for texture because I was trying to make the background of my design have a little bit of texture to it instead of just plain white. So you can search any kind of elements that you would want. Let's say I want an arrow, or I wanted some stars, and you can go see all, and there's shapes, but if you want to go to the graphics, which is where I typically go, this will have all kinds of different options for you. And another fun fact, let's say you're creating a design that's like how to start with us. Step 1, you call. Step 2, you schedule. Step 3, enjoy something, right? Well, step 1, you're gonna want a icon for each of these steps. And so step 1 is call us. So you would be able to put a phone into the search bar for your icon. You're gonna go to graphics, see all, and you'll find all these different kinds of icons. It'll start right here. And if you scroll over to animation, you could even get animated phones. So you can add this to websites or make the text bigger by going over here, selecting the text and clicking over here, or you can click onto it and it'll have like big text like that. So you can do that. How to change the font, really cool too. You can actually line it up to center or see where. Canva's really good about making things really precise when it comes to like how far apart your texts are, or how like where it is on the screen, so you're never guessing. It's like right in the middle, which is great. How to change the font. So we're gonna go over to the fonts, Canva Sans. Some of my favorite fonts are the Montserrat font. I love that font. You can make it bold by just hitting Command B on your keyboard, or you can hit the B up here. I love the tan family, especially if I'm trying to get more of a elegant, modern, like classy look. If I'm trying to go bold and like a gym style, I love Beba's New. So those are some of my favorite fonts. So if you want to undo anything that you do, just go up to this back arrow and you can undo whatever you've done. So let's say I want to stick with this text. Actually, no, I want to go to that. And if I wanted to flash forward, I just hit this front arrow right here. So back, flash forward. And let's say I want to change the color. Let's do a yellow. So I have all of these different colors right here, and you can see all the different hex codes on them. So like that hashtag number is a hex code. So if you're marketing person or a website developer ever asks for a specific hex code, that is what they're talking about, the hashtag number for the color. But let's say I want to create a yellow. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to drag this right here. And awesome. So I'm going to click that. It's going to save right here. And I want to add a drop shadow. So let's go over to, there's other effects like italic. You can underline stuff, put a slash through it. You can align the text right here. So the middle, the side. So let's say I wanted to add some spacing between my letters. You can go up to here, letter spacing, space it out even more, bring it together, however you want to do that. There's also line spacing as well. So let's say I have even more text right here. I'm going to click my text, and line spacing would bring that closer together or farther apart. Right here is transparency. So sometimes I'll use this for text, or mainly photos and backgrounds I use this for, but if you want to make your text not really transparent, you can do that. Over on effects, this is what I mainly use, the lift or drop shadow. You can decrease the intensity or increase it, whatever you like. I typically do around 20, so it's very subtle. I also like to use the outline one quite a bit. You can control how thick you want it, how thin you want it. Sometimes I like to do hollow. So if I want to make a text stand out, this is a fun effect that I love to use if I want to make it stand out, especially if it's a really bright color, like a neon one. This is cool, I like it. The other ones I don't really tend to use. There's a background one, but I usually like to make a background on my own. But if you wanted this, it's right here. You can control the roundness, make it as round as you want or not, the spread. So however far away you want from the text, and then the transparency of it. So there's that option. There's also, let's go back and change it to none. There's a drop shadow. You can change the color of the drop shadow. There is this one right here, this one. There you go. So there's a look at all of the different effects that you can do. If you scroll down, you can do a curve as well. If you want to change the curve, you can do that. Make it curve the other way, make it curve this way, or let's go back to none. So let's say you have a social media post that you're creating and you plan on saving it as a video, and so you want your text to animate in. So you're gonna click animate, and you can do all these different kind of text effects. In order for this to show up within your social media post, you do have to save this as a video. So make sure you don't forget that, because if you don't, it's just gonna show up as a static text. All these different animation effects. And the cool thing is you can even edit the animation to be like on exit, on enter. So if you want it entering, floating in and moving, or if you want it exiting, moving, or you can do both. And you can mess with the intensity of it as well. So that's really cool, and the direction. That way or that way. Last effect that I like to use a lot for my text is going to be the highlight effect. So I'm gonna go over to elements. I'm going to search square, and I wanna get the square that you are able to, that's not it. There's two different squares. There's one that you can, here it is. You can adjust it from both sides. So it'll have this little marker on the sides and the top. And this square, it's not there. It's only in the corners. So I don't want that one. I want this one. I'm gonna click it. I'm gonna change the color. It's gonna do black for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to pull it here and move it up because I wanna make it into like a really thin rectangle. And I'm going to then drag it behind the text. So typically, like let's say I'm actually gonna change the colors on this. There we go. That's super ugly. Anyways, so I had it like this. I could make it a little bit thicker and then make it not fall off the lettering as much. I want to fall off a little bit because that's part of why it looks the way it does. But typically I'll do it like this, where it's a little offset from the center, or if you zoom in, 2 fingers on your keyboard, you zoom in, then you get really close and you can really adjust it. Because typically in Canva, if you're moving an element, it'll kind of stick to the next layout, like within its lines on the page to make everything really precise. But if you zoom in, you can like move it very, very slightly up without it auto-correcting and over-correcting what you want. See how it overcorrects like that? Or it not overcorrects, but it corrects it to that line. I don't want it to do that, so I'm going to move even more in. There we go. And I want it right in the middle. Zooming out, bam. So I like to use this text effect to add a little something to highlight the text. And the last effect that I do want to show you is a layering effect. So let's say I wanted to add a title on top. And hi, my name. We're just gonna do that. I'm gonna drag it up here, highlight the text, that yellow color. I'm gonna change the font. Let's do a curvy font. Sometimes for curvy fonts, I like to use Holiday because you can see it pretty well. Some cursive you cannot recognize at all, but Holiday is not a bad one. Yeah, it still gives that curvy look. I'm gonna add the effect. That did not help at all. We're gonna add this effect. That way you can see it better. All right, so let's say we wanted to have this text go behind that T right there. All right, click on the text, hit the 3 dots, go to layer, and you're going to hit send back. If you only want it back towards, let's say you have multiple elements going on and you're layering a lot of things. If you only want it back one element, hit send back. If you want it back all the way, send to like the back right here. So I'm gonna send it back, and then it moves it behind that text. Another way to do this is go 3 dots, layer, show layers. I really like to use this feature, especially if I have a design that has a bunch going on and a lot of layering and a lot of elements. Then I can take this and drag the layers wherever I want. All right, so for the background portion of this video, I'm going to use this design as an example because it covers pretty much everything. So I'm going to duplicate this page. How you do that is you're going to hit the 3 dots right here. You're going to hit duplicate, and you can also delete this page if you wanted to. I'm going to hit duplicate. So starting from scratch, I'm going to drag and select all the elements within this page and delete. And I have a texture element right here, which I'm actually gonna keep at the side because I'm going to use it. But I have a white background. If you wanted to change the background, you go right here, click whatever background you want. And let's say I wanted to add on my texture like I did. How I'm gonna do that is go to elements and type in texture. And if I go to the graphics area, it'll show me all the different kinds of texture that I can use. So let's say I wanted this one. As you can see, it's very faint. Maybe some kind of like dust or old-timey camera film. It's very faint, but honestly, sometimes those are my favorite because it adds a little something, but it's not overbearing. But because I had this on the last one, we're just gonna use this one that I have. White background. There we go. You can barely see the texture, which is good. We want that. All right, and the next step, I had a photo on the previous design. So I'm gonna go down to uploads. I'm just gonna pick a random photo. Here's one of my family and I's roofing company, so I'm gonna use that one. And I'm cropping the image real quick because the other image was more of a rectangle. So if you wanna crop an image, you can do so like this. dragging it over. And let's say I want to make the image bigger. So I'm going to take the corners and do that. But let's say, and I want to drag it down. I'm going to drag it a little bit more. I need to zoom out a bit. There we go. So right there. But let's say I don't want to cut off her head and I don't really want to show our knees that much. I'm going to go to the crop effect right here. I'm going to take the photo and drag it down. So that way you can see more of our faces. But there's a lot of space on this side of the photo and not a lot on this one. So I'm going to take the corner of the actual photo and drag it this way so that it lines up more to the middle. And then I'm going to center it and done. For backgrounds, let's say I wanted to layer multiple photos on top of each other. If I wanted to do that, I'd grab another photo and I'd just take it right here. And it's already in front of the first photo that I put down, but I want to bring it back behind. So 3 dots, go layering and bring it back. Oh, but see how the texture got in front of the photo? We don't want that. So we're gonna go back to 3 dots, layer, and bring front 1. So notice, like how I said before, layering, this is bringing front forward 1 something. This is bringing it to the front all the way. So if I were to do this, it's back in front of my photo, which I don't want. And so the layering stuff is very, very useful, and I use it all the time. Sometimes I'll have designs where copy and paste this. I'll do something like this. And let's say I want to change this photo though. Let's go to uploads and I'll change it with this one right here. I'm going to click and drag my photo. It's really slow right now. And the photo will appear into the same crop that I had of the previous photo. So as you can tell, it dropped into the photo frame that I had before. And so if you have a really nice cropped photo and you're like, dang it, I have another photo that I want to use and I don't necessarily want to put it in, recrop it, and try to do all that mess, literally go to uploads, click your photo, drag it into your other photo. And because it's not really highlighting what I want in the middle, I'm going to hit the crop again and drag the photo where I want it to be. And let's say I wanted to bring this photo forward. We're gonna go here, 3 dots, layer, bring forward. So something like that if you want to layer multiple photos on top of each other. Now let's say I have just one photo, but I want to add a little bit of a drop shadow to it because I want it to stand out. You're going to go to elements and we're going to go drop shadow, pick all these different shadows and do something like that. Or if you want it to actually cover the entire image, you can take this shadow and we're going to make it a little smaller. We're going to rotate it and we're going to drag it to a corner. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. And then back to the layer again, sending back, bam. So obviously it kind of cuts off right here, which I don't like. I would probably try to bring this shadow forward, but then you see it going over here. So that's not the best shadow to use as an example, but all these different kind of shadows that you can use, and you're just gonna hit layer and send it back. Let's say I wanted this photo to actually be the background of my post, not the white background. And let's do, if I had this photo as the back, I'm gonna take this texture off. And as you can see, there's some letters here. You can't really see them really well, so I'm gonna make them white. And there's an element right here. I'm going to select that element and make it white after I've made the element white. Okay, so let's say you have an image that is the background of your photo, right? And you want to do a little transparency effect. If you have big text with the photo as the background and text on top of it, you can't really see much. So if I select the photo, I'm gonna hit transparency, and because there's a white background behind this, it's going to make the text stand out. Now, if I had a black background behind this, I'll show you what that looks like. I'm gonna change the background real quick, and I'm actually gonna change the text to white. I'm gonna scroll that photo back in there. You can go darker, you can go lighter, whatever you wanna do if you want your text to pop out. And another effect for the background is the blur effect. So how to do the blur effect? You're going to select your photo, you're going to hit edit up top, and you're going to scroll down till you hit the blur. It's gonna be in effects right here, blur. And then you can go intensity. Let's say, actually, I want the whole image. So I'm gonna hit that. And then intensity, you're just gonna scroll this over, super blurry, and then like barely blurry. So I wouldn't add this for this photo, but I have added this for other designs. And then if you click out of it, click the X, it gives a little blur effect. All right, so let's say you want to add little elements like the check marks right here or the little 3 dots, any kind of elements just to spice up your photo. And in this one, I added this little arrow. In this one, you added like a search bar with a click. If I want to add any type of element like this, you're gonna go to the elements right here. And let's say I want to do a mouse click, then they are right here. These are the animated ones. Let me scroll and click static. they are right here. So you would just click, resize, drag it on wherever you want, and then that is that. So that is how you add elements to your template designs. And finally, I'm gonna show you guys how to vectorize a logo. So I'm going to screenshot the Zoom logo real quick, just to prove my point. Dragging it into Canva, bam, there I have my logo. But ew, it looks so blurry and gross, we don't like that. Let's fix it. We are going to then hit edit. You're then gonna go down to apps and the image upscaler, so the butterfly. You can upscale to whatever you like. I typically do 16 just to be safe because I want to make sure it is crisp and clear. Don't want nothing to look unprofessional. It'll give you a before and after so you can take your slider and see the transformation. It is absolutely amazing. I used to have to pay for a software to do this for me, and now I got rid of it. Replace. And bam, here's your new crisp logo that looks nice and clear and professional. If you want to delete a page, go down to the 3 dots right here and click delete. All right, guys, so that is the end of this Canva tutorial. If you have any specific questions on how to edit in Canva, feel free to comment them down below or shoot me an email. I'd be happy to help. See you all in the next video.